Thank you so much for joining us today. I guess we are at 34 and we are expecting almost 40 people, but we can start and we will let people in as they join. Thank you so much for taking the time to join our call today. So on our agenda, we will talk about, we will have a little Gutsy Walk trivia, and we will show some Gutsy Walk 2021 highlights. And we will introduce you to our national honorary co-chairs. And we will talk about what is new this year and talk about important days, have a group activity and a little game. So I hope everyone can hear me all right. Okay. So first, I like to say, I want to thank you on behalf of everyone from Crohn's and Colitis Canada. We cannot describe how grateful we are for all your support. And Gutsy Walk is truly powered by volunteers, and it wouldn't have been the success it is today without each and every one of you. So I'm Neval, I'm the Gutsy Walk manager, and I have been with Crohn's and Colitis Canada for over 5 years. I had the pleasure to meet some of you at our GUTS conferences before, but I'm also very happy to see some new faces, and I'm really excited to meet all of you today. Also, my rest of Gutsy Walk team is also with us, Rebecca and Amara. If you can say hello so everyone can see you guys.
Hi, everyone.
And Amara.
Hello.
And our VP of Marketing and Communication, Angie, she will also say a few words before we start our presentation.
I just wanted to start on a serious note. I just wanted to acknowledge anyone who had family or friends in Ukraine, that our hearts and prayers go out for you. I just watched the news and I was particularly touched and now came to this event, but I thought it was important to acknowledge, everyone's gone through some pretty tough times, with COVID, with everything. And we are just so super excited about Gutsy Walk coming up and getting the chance to see everyone again. And I hope you're as excited as all of us are. Today is particularly cold, maybe not as cold as I'm in Oakville, Ontario. A lot of us on the team are in Ontario, maybe not as cold as I noted Matthew was from Winnipeg, but it is particularly cold here today. And so soon it will get warm and it will get brighter, and it's going to be June 5th. And we are delighted to have so many people on our team helping us prepare for Gutsy Walk, and having you contribute your time, your expertise, your energy, your passion towards Gutsy Walk. And it's really, part of it is about the fundraising, because it's a really important fundraiser for Crohn's and Colitis Canada and fueling research and all the great programs that we deliver to the community. But it's also about connecting the community and getting people together around a cause that is really important to all of us. And I always reflect on my first Gutsy Walk, because I think it really speaks to the power of the walk and the events that happen across the country. When I went to my first Gutsy Walk, it happened to be in Peel, Mississauga. And I met someone who I hadn't seen in 20 years or more. She was the best friend of my sister. And I asked her why she was there, because it was, when you see someone out of context. And she said, well, I have Crohn's. And I said, really? When did this happen? And she goes, well, I've had it my whole life. And my 3 sisters also have IBD. And she shared that, I asked her, how come we never knew that? My sister didn't know that. She said, well, my parents had said to keep it private, to keep it within the family. And I thought, how amazing is this now with hundreds of people, let alone thousands, coast to coast, getting together to connect on something that's affecting their lives. And that's what it's really about, is the community coming together to support each other. And it's really powerful. So I've been touched every year when I go out and participate in the events, virtually. It was also, it was interesting last year to walk and know that many others, thousands, were walking at the same time. So I walk to support, everyone that I know, my friends, my family, now my extended community through Crohn's and Colitis Canada, to support those with Crohn's, living with Crohn's disease or colitis. And we're so delighted to have you part of this mission. And I'd love to at some point connect with all of you and understand, why you volunteer, why you walk, and why this is important to you. But I know we have a full agenda, so I'm going to turn it back to Naval and get started. But I just wanted to say a big welcome, a big thank you. And we're so excited about moving forward with our event for June 5th. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Angie. Next, we are going to play a trivia game. I will just stop sharing my screen, and Rebecca will take over.
Okay, let me see if I do this right.
Only 5 questions, and staff shouldn't join, otherwise it wouldn't be fair.
Okay, so there's a website at the top that says menti.com. And then when you go to that site, you can enter the code that is 622-2206, right?
6022-2206.
Okay, there's people coming.
Did I hear correctly, Naval? You said we couldn't play?
Staff can't play, otherwise it wouldn't be fair.
Oh well.
Okay, let me know when everyone's on. Okay, we good? Okay. When was the first Gutsy Walk held? And you'll be prompted on your phone to answer, or your device rather. Is no one sure? Do you need a hint?
We celebrated our 25th year recently.
Oh, there we go. It doesn't show it till the end. Okay. All right, 1996. That's right. Ooh, wow. All right, question number 2. How much has Gutsy Walk raised since it began? I should have had the Jeopardy music or something going. $48 million. Oh my gosh. It's anybody's game at this point. What percentage of funds raised go towards research and patient programs? And just to clarify, this is like funds raised across the organization, but in particular events like Gutsy Walk. %71%, as per our most recent annual report. How many Gutsy Walk locations do we have, both virtual and in person? Or roughly how many Gutsy Walk locations do we have? Oh, you guys are very,
Everybody's doing great.
yeah. Yep, so we have over 70 plus walk sites across the country. All right, our final question. Throwback Thursday, before 2012, what was the Gutsy Walk called? Oh, I don't know why the countdown was shorter on this one. Sorry about that. Heel and Wheelathon.
Where is it?
Congratulations, we have a winner.
So can we ask how long have you been volunteering with Crohn's and Colitis Canada?
Oh, me?
Yes, really.
I guess a few years. So I'm not
For
exactly
few-
sure on the start date. Yeah.
For a few years, you you know a lot. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Could I add, Naval, that Blythe was one of our top pledge earners last year. She raised close to 5,000, Blythe?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think so. And I think the team raised like, I don't know, over 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, way to go.
That's
Awesome.
Amazing.
great. I'm
Thanks,
glad
Sharon.
to hear that. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me continue.
We hope you enjoyed that, by the way.
Sorry, let me just share my screen again. I mean, you all got the answers correctly, but still just to go over, we have over 70 locations across Canada. It's actually, with all the virtual ones, it's around 80, but we are just saying 70 because the number keeps changing. And as you all know, Gutsy Walk is Crohn's and Colitis Canada's largest community event celebrating 300,000 people affected by Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. And like we mentioned, we raised over 48 million since 1996. And all that money goes to research and patient programs. And all thanks to you, participant donors and sponsors. We had last year over 2,700 participants, but On a typical year, when we have an in-person event, we would have like 7,000 registered participants plus people who come to the walk with them. So that number is like twice as much. So we are hoping that with being back to parks, we will have the same participation again like this year. Here just a few highlights from our research report to see your impacts, like where all the dollars go. 4.7 million was invested in our most promising research to develop better treatments and find cures. 17 major hospitals and universities are supported by our research grants and awards. And as you know, GEM projects is 107 recruitment sites we have around the world, and over 5,000 participants, and there are also new findings. And 430,000 people supported through our programs and much more. So if you haven't already, you can find more information on our website, like Crohn's and Colitis Canada website. You can see the whole research report, and the new one will also be available in the following months. So just to recap our Gutsy Walk 2021. We had an amazing year. Gutsy Walk exceeded its fundraising goal for the first time since 2016, and this was a huge success for everyone. Like 75% of the regions reached or exceeded their overall goals. And thank you all for your contribution and for your help. And it was a challenging past 2 years for everyone. But we had an amazing year. Our goal was 2.2 million and we raised over 2.3. As we mentioned, we had over 2,700 participants, 700 teams, and almost 500 top pledge earners, people who raised 1,000 and more. So I'm not sure if you all had a chance to see our Crohn's and Colitis Canada PSA. You are not alone on your journey one. We have one for Gutsy Walk, just a little different. So let me just show you the PSA that we have for Gutsy Walk.
Progress.
From confusion and pain to receiving a diagnosis, and finding community support. From your lowest point to rising up and taking action. Crohn's and Colitis Canada. We're here for you every step of the way.
So we don't want another video to play. And now I would like to introduce you to our this year's National Honorary Co-Chairs, two amazing individuals, Mia and Claire. They are also here with us on the call. Mia, would you like to say hi and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Mia. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2017. In 2020, I was the honorary chair for the Montreal's Gutsy Walk, and I am so honored to be here today as one of the national honorary chairs. The Gutsy Walk is just so amazing because it brings us all together and it makes us feel more heard, and we feel like we're not alone. So as I said, I'm so honored to be here, and thank you so much for every single one of you for your support. It means the world to me and so many others.
And Claire, if you can introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi everyone, I'm Claire. I live in Ayton and I was diagnosed with IBD almost 3 years ago. I am co-chairing the walk this year along with my friend Mia. First, I would like to say thank you to all the volunteers this year. It means a lot to me and everyone at Crohn's and Colitis Canada. I am very excited for this year's walk because it's my first in-person walk. The other 2 years I have done it virtually. I really like volunteering and helping with Crohn's and Colitis Canada because it makes me feel good, and I want to do everything I can to find a cure for IBD. I have one question for you guys. Why are you guys volunteering?
Also, at the beginning, for people who joined late to the call, we were showing a very inspirational video with the quotes from all the volunteers. And we will share this recording with everyone, so you can see that recording again. Sorry, the video when we share the recording. Let me read the messages. Yeah, thank you, Claire and Mia, for sharing your story and why you like to volunteer. Anyone else would like to share why they like volunteering to help find a cure? To raise awareness. Okay, thank you, everyone. So oh, Melanie also wrote. She said, for you ladies and those like you ladies that are also willing to stand up for those that need you and maybe that can't stand up for themselves. I love seeing the community coming together to support everyone. Thank you all for your answers. So let's talk about Gutsy Walk 2022 then. We are all excited that it's coming up. And this year we are back to the parks, and we are finally going to have an in-person event because like 2 years, yes, we still shared our stories and the event was a success, but the important part of Gutsy Walk is like bringing communities together and meeting people that have the similar stories with you, and it's an essential meeting place for people taking on IBD. So that's why it's important for them to see they have a big caring community behind them. So we are like so excited to go back to the parks, and we hope you all are. So let me continue sharing my screen. Okay, so this year's walk will happen on June 5th. Again, the first Sunday of June. And after, like I said, after challenging 2 years, we are back to the parks. And this year we are giving participants an option to attend the walk in person or virtually. So that's why we call our event hybrid. But some participants still say, I don't know, but later we will contact those people to find out if they will be able to join. And we hope everyone will feel safe and they will join the walk at the parks, and we will have that community feeling again, like at the events. So maybe we all forgot how the in-person event was after this long, but we had fun activities, and we have opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, of course the walk, and it's like usually 5K. People don't have the whole 5K because this is not a competitive event. It's for people to get together and have fun. It's family-friendly event. So like people can choose to walk the whole 5K, or if it's shorter, they are welcome to do that, or just join the activities. We have a registration table at the event and food. And of course, we are like safety of our community is our top priority, and we are having an in-person event, but we are also monitoring the situations and like taking some precautions for COVID protocols. So we are coming up with some safety plan. One of the things would be we will have a quick registration for participants. So we are investigating to see how that can happen for people, how they can quickly check in. So that will also help everyone for contact tracing. So we will know who came to the events, like we will have their contact information. Also, the other thing is we will try to eliminate the lineups at the registration table. So all these plans, we are working on them, and we will share with you all like once we have it like finalized. And as part of our COVID safety plan, we have a volunteer vaccination policy which came into effect on March 1st. This is part of the onboarding process for volunteers. So every volunteer who will attend an in-person event with Crohn's and Colitis Canada, they need to be vaccinated. So they will need to provide their proof of vaccination if they want to attend, like volunteer in an in-person event. So that also goes for event day volunteers. So if you have any questions about this, like the COVID-19 safety protocol, the vaccination policy, and the new onboarding policy, please contact volunteer engagement team or your staff partner for more information. So what is new this year is on Participant Center, we now have some badges, which is a great way to recognize people's, like if they're a returning participant or if they're a team captain, if they make a donation to themselves, to their page, then on their personal page, they will have little cute badges showing that they are a returning participant or a team captain or made a self-donation. The other thing we are excited to have back is the option to add and pay for offline donation. This was something we had in the past, but because we made few changes on the website and that was disabled, but now we are back, we have that again, and it will be easier for everyone to submit their offline donations through Participant Center. This will also eliminate people bringing cash to the event. So like last year, we will start mailing the t-shirts in April. So as soon as people reach $100 level, they will start receiving their t-shirts starting April 1st. And stay tuned for the t-shirt reveal in the upcoming weeks. We are working on the design and it will be ready very soon, and we will share it by email with everyone. Hope you will all like it. And the other two things that I like to share is like this year we started having volunteer newsletter. I'm not sure if you all received it, but if you didn't, please put your name in the chat and we will make sure to include you to the list. This goes to all active volunteers for this year. And it's where we share what's coming up, which tools are available, where to find them, important dates. And this is something we started this year, and I hope you will all like it. And please share with us what you would like to see on this newsletter. What are the things that you would like us to share with you all? And if you want to hear anything specific from us, just let us know. Like we have our email address also provided in the newsletter. So please let us know what you think about the newsletter. The second one will be sent next week on March 3rd. So please subscribe. And the other new thing we want to share is the Volunteer Hub. This is the SharePoint that was created to share the documents that we want to provide to volunteers, like all the social media assets or media packages, sponsorship packages, or the retention call lists. Because before we were relying hardly on emails, and which is not a very good way, especially like sending documents through emails may not work for everyone. And especially if you are sharing a confidential information, that becomes tricky. So now we will put all the documents here, and then the link will be provided to you in the newsletter. And also your staff partner will provide it to you. This is in the works, but it will be ready very soon. As you can see, like it has the homepage, and the training videos will also be added to this portal. and you will have the folders, and the access will be different for each volunteer depending on their position. And our promotion plans this year, like we will have digital ads like last time, so which will start in March. Also, we will do the retention polls to past participants, and we have a plan to send postcards to our labs participants. And we are increasing our promotional budget this year, so we are planning more things as we go, and we will share with you as we have more information. So here are the collateral samples, like the box slips were sent out in December or January. And then we have the generic posters, which will be distributed in the coming weeks. And this time we added a QR code. So it's new this year again. So here are some training days that are coming up. So the meeting invites will be shared with you again in the newsletter, and it will be shared by your staff partner as well. So the confirmed, like the confirmed ones are social media for beginners. It's on March 22nd. The advanced one is March 29, and media relations April 7th. And then the other ones like sponsorship training, event day experience, volunteer engagement, and registration trainings. As soon as we schedule them and decide on the dates, we will share the training links with you. And we have a new training this year for local honorary chairs only. It's to provide them the local honorary chair, the package, like the interview tips on media interviews or like some speaking points. So we would like to have more information for them to make the event better experience, easier also, like for them to share their story and everything. So, okay, we will go into breakout rooms because we came together not for me to keep talking and showing you some slides. The main point is to connect and have the opportunity to share ideas. So we are going to put you in breakout rooms. And here are the questions you can discuss, or if you are curious about other things you like to ask your group members, feel free to do that. We are very lucky because we have people from all over Canada with us, so everyone has a different experience with their events because each event is somehow different because of the size and the people who attend, so it will be better for you to share all the tips with each other. But here are some questions. If you would like to take a picture, you can first, and you can discuss in the room. We are going to give you 20 minutes to discuss in the breakout room, and then you will have 10 minutes to share with us. So I believe we will have 5 breakout rooms. So please assign someone to take notes so that person can share what you discuss in the room, briefly. So Amara, I guess we are good to go in the breakout rooms if everyone took the picture. Okay. Sorry, my puppy. Do we have everyone back, or everyone's slowly joining back?
Slowly joining back.
I hope 20 minutes was enough because we tried to make it a little bit longer than usual. I mean, this meeting is booked until 8:30, so I'm hoping you all have the time so we can all share what we talked about in the rooms, and then we will have a little game after. So I'm guessing everyone is back. I think we lost some people later. So let's start with room 1. I'm not sure who was in room 1. So then let's have a volunteer, whoever wants to go first. We have 5 groups, so we are hoping to hear back from 20 people.
The rooms were arranged alphabetically, so anyone who has a name that starts with A or B.
Okay, Angie.
Oh, does that mean were we room 1? Anyways,
Yes.
I was
I think-
nominated by my team to be the
Fine.
spokesperson.
I guess, yeah.
So I'll get the
And
ball
you-
rolling. So a key best practice is to keep the lines of communication open. So communicating often with your team and your core volunteers to keep them in the loop is really important. That being said, for day of volunteers, sometimes you don't want to overwhelm them. So you might want to start the communications 1 week before the event and not too early so that you're not overwhelming them with things, and be sure to send out reminders and things like that. Another tip was schedule some time for fun to connect with the team. Pre-COVID, this was done like maybe a dinner to kind of get the team together before the event and in something just to, create those relationships and together for a chat. Put things in email so you have a trail of important information. Now there'll be the SharePoint site, so that'll be great. One of the long-standing volunteers who actually was here volunteering since Heel and Wheels has a lot of resources and tools and templates. And so sometimes within committees where you have new people, you might want to draw on people who have been there with the Gutsy Walk event and see if they have any templates, Excel spreadsheets, resources, plans that you kind of dust off and reuse for this event. And Naval suggests that maybe we want to use SharePoint to share some of that and make them available more broadly to some of the other teams in terms of these templates and tools. And by all means, show appreciation, thank your committees, specifically if you're a chair, to be thanking your volunteers and those involved. Another tip was be prepared for weather, inclement weather. Those in Ontario know that for many years we dealt with rain, and those outside I know have dealt with everything from like floods to fires and other things. It's amazing what can pop up during Gutsy Walk when you're coast to coast. Be prepared with some contingency plans. Certainly know amongst your committee what that plan is, but also know that Crohn's and Colitis Canada does have plans and a means of communicating to make decisions if worst case scenario, the event needs to be canceled or postponed because of very severe weather or circumstances, that there is a process and there is a means of making that decision and communicating it out very quickly. But just be prepared. Rain can happen, and it isn't necessarily a reason to cancel the event because many Gutsy walkers have participated in the rain, as long as it's not dangerous or a safety issue. And they come prepared with, what are those, ponchos and boots. What else? Overall, there was a sentiment that it's really going to be a joy to come together. This could be a really, really important Gutsy Walk, and everyone is super excited that it may, in fact, draw in new people. So in terms of building, engaging the community leading up to the event, there was a lot of use of social media, the Facebook pages, local Facebook pages, and just highlighting some of the achievements, top pledge earners, captains, teams, to generate that excitement and to build a rolling kind of thunder leading up to the event. I did mention overall we're trying to generate excitement a little bit earlier. A lot of it happens a week before, but wouldn't it be great, to kind of do a bit of that lead up earlier? And I know from a Crohn's and colitis perspective, we are promoting and advertising earlier to help generate more awareness for the event. There's nothing like seeing a person's name in lights, so acknowledging things and highlights within social media work really well, along with the honorary chairs, and the sponsors that are supporting us locally. And then there is an ability to do something, I think, on the participant pages where you can actually link to the connect on the Facebook links of individuals, depending on, who they are, and just acknowledge their contributions. So just being a little savvy in terms of just acknowledging individual contributions and achievements along the way. We talked about the t-shirt coming out earlier. It's all about that kind of building of excitement, and that for those that raise $100 or more, as of Nabal, what was the date again? Is it April? Sometime in April,
Yeah,
they'll be fulfilled.
we will start first week of April. We will start mailing to people who reach $100 level.
Yeah, and it's all about the achievement along the way, and not necessarily waiting for the day of to do all of that recognition. And we heard it really loud and clear from last year. People appreciated getting the shirts earlier. And so we've built that into part of the process. I think I caught everything. If not, does anyone of the team want to add anything?
Great summary, Angie. You did a great job.
Is that you in video, Chantel?
No, it's
It's a different picture.
it is a different picture. Everything is super delayed. My internet is terrible here, everybody.
Oh,
So
no.
I am glitching in and out, and I'm joining and rejoining, and I'm hearing things in snippets, but you did a great job, Angie. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the whole team's contribution.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
We were talking about social media. If you have some local celebrities who are into it, get them to tweet and retweet and all that fun stuff too.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Great.
So does this mean we go to the Bs now? So Brian is on next, or Bill?
I will speak for group 2. We are the Bs, but I'm not a B. I don't know. I ended up in group 2. So for the first question, what are your best practices for planning an in-person event, and what are some of the things to avoid? So we talked about a couple of things in here. Some of the best practices, and actually just kind of a tip that I volunteered from the Kingston group. I had been registration captain before I was chair. And something we learned was that getting a bank to volunteer their tellers to do registration is a really nice addition to registration. They're fast, they count well. They actually ended up being from the same bank as Crohn's and Colitis once our kind of volunteer committee moved to a new bank. They bring their own equipment. So we were working with money in cardboard boxes at some point because it rains and it's really windy in Kingston. And I can't say what a terrible disaster that is. So the banks are a great committee, and they come year after year. So that's a lovely idea. We were talking about so an in-person event versus a virtual event. Brian had some good thoughts about when he plans an in-person event. He has a lovely volunteer, I think Cindy is on here somewhere, was sending him some checklists for what to do every month, which is something similar to what Angie said in terms of, dusting off those old papers. It is very different to plan an in-person event. There's permits, insurance, rentals of things. And so some of this stuff really does have to go in place early. And so Bill, not Brian, Brian's anyway, staff member. So Bill said, having somebody to send him that, and so he can assign to committee members, everybody has a job and feels very engaged, and, we can move that along and keep it all on track. That's a great idea. And it is different than an in-person walk, than a virtual walk. Something I had also said about the Kingston walk that we did to kind of alleviate the need for handling garbage and, wanting to be more green is our utilities company, or Utilities Kingston rents a water buggy. And because we're in a Kingston park, we can hook up to the water as well. So you could do something, like that in your area to kind of reduce that garbage and that green footprint. Okay, so question number 2, what are some of the tips that you have for bringing more interest in your area and creating to increase your walk turnaround? So again, I'm going to say Bill. volunteered this idea, and this is really great. So the idea that you could go to high schools to get some volunteers from high schools, not only Bill was saying that that increases a volunteer base, yes, but it will also probably increase your social media feed because the students are going to start talking about what they're doing and where they're going. And the more that they talk, the more, you know, it spreads. And that's a really great idea. Also, you know, interest in the community, we talked about the importance of those retention calls and, you know, actually connecting one-on-one with your walkers. That's showing your appreciation. You know, it's listening. Often when I do those retention calls, I'm just listening to why people can't come, sympathizing with why they can't come, talking about the virtual walk, but it's really just somebody called and they actually care about my personal situation. That's the tone of some of the calls that I've had. And I think that people truly, really do appreciate that personal touch. Even if they can't come to the walk, they just, you know, some of our, you know, our walkers and our crew is just in need of that personal touch, especially during COVID. So actually making those phone calls and taking the time to reach out to people, I think they really do appreciate, and that again does add your personal touch. So there's one other thing we talked about, and Kingston's doing this as well as Mississauga, is getting local radio stations involved and getting them to come out on walk day. They will promote the event, you know, on their stations and in their shows. And then when they come out on walk day, then they can, you know, not only are they visually there, which creates interest, but also, you know, they're broadcasting, and that's a great way to do that. How can we keep the Gutsy Walk committee members engaged during the planning and leading up to the event? I was so shocked actually, because Kingston didn't have any committee members except Sherry and I until, and Jay actually, Finn, until just recently. So one of our chapter presidents called in, previous chapter presidents called in to volunteer. And now it seems like we're, you know, getting some more volunteers. And I don't know if that's just because the Gutsy Walk message is coming out now and people are starting to think about volunteering, but yeah, so getting committee members engaged. We didn't really get into this in our meeting, but certainly, you know, to get volunteers, we can go to high school students. But I guess, you know, Sherry and I have been talking about sharing on social media, just, you know, posters and ads for, you know, people because we don't have any. So anyway, I think that's everything. Does anybody else in group 2 have anything you want to add that I may have missed? Anything?
I don't think so. There's just one thing. I know that we're from a very small area, small village, but we do have neighboring communities, and each community seems to have their own social media page where it's kind of people in their area share things that are local to them. So what we did last year and what we plan to do again this year is post a lot on those pages. Just sharing our story and reaching out to local businesses and saying, you know, if you want to make a donation, if you want to learn more about it, you know, let us know. We're more than happy to come on out and meet you and, you know, do whatever we can to spread that awareness. But I think like even just doing that on our local small town ones, there have been people that have contacted us, you know, that have said, you know, I've had this for how many years and they've been our neighbors and we've never known that. So I think just simply getting it out there, no matter any way, shape or form, getting it out there is bringing people. Like there's a neighbor of ours who has had Crohn's for years, and last year was the first time she had heard of Gutsy Walk. So I think it's just it's a small footprint, our little small communities, but it also has fairly big impact. So that's what we've been doing.
Thank you so much, Melanie and Kendra. Let's move to the next group. That is with Darren, Josephine were in the group, I guess. Who can share from that group?
Oh, yes, we were small but mighty, our group number 3. So I was the note taker, and I'm also the one who will share the notes with the group. So we'll go with question number 1. What are your best practices for planning an in-person event? So they said, making sure people come out. That is key, making sure there's a lot of people come out to the park. And how can they accomplish that? By getting messaging out earlier, having cool, exciting door prizes, thank you gifts, welcome gifts. People love gifts. And one of our members shared that they had branded sugar cookies made with our logo, prepackaged individually, to hand out at the end of the walk as a special thank you. And, you know, the sentiment in the group was people like this. They find it exciting, and that's why they come out. It really brings the community together. Things to avoid: less cash and more online donations. They said that would be really important this year. And secondly, having enough washrooms at the park. I guess there's been some incidences where there haven't been enough washrooms, and it's just one thing they keep top of mind each time that they turn out to an in-person event. Okay. Tips to increase interest and walk turnout. Social media messaging, they say that is key for them, and having different vehicles to get our message out. So that's one of the most important thing that everyone said around the table. Word of mouth, speaking to your friends and family and neighbors, making sure they know that Gutsy Walk is happening, when it's happening, so they can come and join you. Sharing with your networks, both online, you know, if you're part of a gym or you're part of you know, at a golf club, golf course, or a library, just sharing that Gutsy Walk is coming up. And one thing that I thought was so cool is inviting local vendors to set up a marketplace to sell their products, but also make a donation that day of all the proceeds they make to Gutsy Walk, and really get some interest at the park. So even people that are not coming to the Gutsy Walk, but are at the park at the same time, may come over just to see, hey, what's going on here? There's an event, and hopefully participate. Another suggestion was inviting your MP, MPP, councillors, mayors, ensure their attendance, because people follow them. And they, you know, do special shout outs on Twitter and other social media platforms. So that's something we should consider. And then number 3 is, how can we keep Gutsy Walk committee members engaged during the planning and lead up to the event? Unfortunately, 80% of my group have only done virtual walks, but we still did some brainstorming. And Dara came up with a really great suggestion. She said for her volunteers, she breaks down tasks for each volunteer versus giving them a role. She feels that sharing smaller tasks versus a large role with a lot of description and things that people may find daunting, so may shy away from putting their hand up to say, hey, I want to be that, sign me up for that. And then she also gave us a great suggestion on how you could approach a volunteer that doesn't know how to get engaged. Really finding out what you think they would be best at, and then approaching them with, you would be awesome at being at the registration table. Would this be something you could help us with? So more prompting and suggesting, because sometimes volunteers are weary, especially if they've never done this role before. So just getting to know them better, figuring out what their strengths are, and then finding a role that would work best for them. Is there anything I missed, Group C or Group 3?
No, you did a great job.
Thank you. All right.
I believe next group had Lisa and Sherry. I'm not sure who can share from that group.
Sherry, did you want to? We didn't volunteer somebody to be a spokesperson, but I have Kathleen's notes in front of me.
Yeah, you go ahead, Matthew. My dog's just snoring behind me, so I have to mute
Oh,
myself.
well, I'm probably boring them already, is what it is. See, I don't have much anecdotal evidence or advice to give. This is my first in-person walk I'd be helping with, so I'll just share what we were speaking of. It was myself, Sherry, Ruth Ann, Lisa, and Kathleen. First thing we really mentioned is just get the necessities down first for the in-person walk. Whether it's your park or we're not in a park per se in Winnipeg. registration tent stage, as we have portal potties that may be a little expensive to rent. But something we've talked about. I don't know if Dara shared with her group. It's perhaps a little expensive to rent a space that has washrooms. And then as far as entertainment and food, we were sort of all on the same line of thinking that keeping it simple right now is best, especially with COVID, to not have accountability for serving food. Maybe food trucks or food packages is something we've discussed in Winnipeg. And as far as entertainment, I think what we sort of agreed upon is that something that can wait till last minute. I know I've worked with youth and planning kids' activities for years, and those things always come together the very last second. Someone has an idea and runs to the dollar store and you're good. And as far as entertainment goes, local people are probably looking for work right now, so that's maybe not priority number one. COVID will have its spacing issues, and if you have a huge turnout, one of the things we've discussed in Winnipeg and in our group was staggering starts, if that's something that's possible. Maybe challenging if people don't show up at their assigned time or they run into people they know, but it's one idea. I'm sure there are other things regarding COVID we discussed. Sherry, if there was something else I missed there, I can go on to engaging people. I think the social media is same lines as everyone else, getting the youth involved. I like hearing the idea of high schools. I think at some point we may have to aim even younger, because I think younger and younger is being diagnosed. And getting higher numbers. High school kids are busy now. Middle school kids, not as much, and that's when they're being diagnosed. So at some point, I think if we could find a way to reach out to these 13, 14-year-olds who are being diagnosed, getting their family and friends involved, that may be a better route to go. So I'm just looking at, Kathleen did give me good notes. I just have terrible eyesight. I'm terribly sorry. I don't know if we covered much of question 3. Not really. Sherry's shaking her head, so I guess not. I guess we were just super, super concise. I don't know if Sherry or Lisa had anything else to add.
I think that was great, Matthew. I think everybody's kind of touched on a lot of the other points.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Matthew.
You betcha.
So the last group?
I think that's me and Nikki and Nicole, who just left, Nithara and Mia. Everybody kind of said a lot of what we had to say, but some of our points were for best practices were, again, the communication. So I had suggested that at events I had been at, there could be a group chat for those that are working the event, so that if someone, say, on the other side of the park, you can be like, hey, we need this over here. Can someone run over and bring it over to us? And just having that open line of communication, like was said before, so that everyone's on the same page. Another comment for best practices was being accessible in terms of being available, but also thinking accessibility wise and kind of planning for that, as well as planning in advance was a big best practice for us. But also knowing your role and what you're responsible for, and knowing what other people are responsible for on the same team. And having maybe backup responsibilities just in case, you never know if someone might get sick or something, and being able to kind of have someone jump into that role if need be. And then in terms of growing excitement for the walk locally, social media, again, was a big one for our group, but also Nikki had a great suggestion that having a great, exciting local entertainment at your walk could be something that brings some folks in and gets some buzz going. And then Nicole had said that having some great corporate or local business partners involved is a great way as well to share that information and kind of grow the interest, as well as wearing your shirt early and kind of teasing it up to the walk. And then in terms of engaging the community or the committee, we said having efficient meetings that have you know, valuable information in them is very vital, and having breakout rooms can be handy, like as we did today, for larger groups to get folks to connect and also kind of easier chat and share more points of view. And we also had contests was another big point. You know, whether it's a contest to get people interested in the local walk itself, or contests for the committee to, you know, do the best they can. So those were some of our thoughts.
Great, thank you so much everyone for sharing your great ideas. We have a little game, but I know we only have 5 minutes left. So I'm gonna ask if anyone has any questions for our team or like for other volunteers. I know like Ruth Ann submitted a question at the registration about different volunteer positions, but we will contact her separately about that. But I was wondering if anyone else has any questions. Nope. Okay, Rebecca, do you want to do the Wordle? I don't know how many of you are familiar with Wordle game. I wasn't, so we will play a little game now.
Yeah, sure. It won't take too long. So let me just share. Okay, for those of you that don't know what Wordle is, it is a game where you guess the word. Usually it's a 5-letter word, primarily in English, although it started in English, but now they have Wordles in all different languages. And so you guess the word by typing in whatever your guess is, and it tells you whether you are correct or not. And so if there's a green space, then you can see on the instructions the letters, the right letter, and it's in the right spot. If it's yellow, then it's in the word, but it's not in the right spot. And then if it's gray, then it's wrong. It's not in the word, and it's not in the word at all. So I did a random one, so I don't know what this is either. But if anyone has any letters or words or anything they want to try, we can go for it. And we have a few turns until it's done.
They're random words, or is there like a subject?
Just a totally random word.
Oh, okay.
I have no clue what it is. I just hit random word.
We have suggestions like stare, magic, steam.
Oh, okay, we have a lot. All right, which one was the first one that you said?
Like stare.
Stare, like S-T-A-R-E? Oh, S-T-A-I-R. All right, S-T-A-I-R.
I have one gutsy walk. It's in
All
there.
right. So we know that there's an I in it, but all the other letters are not in it. Anyone have any guesses based on this? I can't see the chat.
Idols.
Idols, like I-D-O-L-S or I-D-L-E-S?
IDOLS.
Oh, okay. ID.
No S, don't put, you're gonna.
Oh, no S?
You're gonna
Okay.
waste that S because we know it's not in there.
Okay, so not idols. What should we?
There's chill.
Chill, like CHILL?
Yeah.
But you're using a double.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you can use double letters. It doesn't have to be 5 different letters. Sorry, I should have said that before. All right, so we're gonna go with chill. Oh, wow, we're eliminating letters.
Wow. Okay, so we know it doesn't have any of the grays. Is that what it means?
Yes.
The word has none of those gray letters, and we know it has an I not in those spots. So, and you do you know what the answer is, Rebecca?
No, I don't.
Oh, because we're just like. Okay.
I thought more people would know what Wordle is, so they would have already done the, New York Times one.
Oh, was this in the New York Times today?
It's every day.
They
yeah, I know.
purchased it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
used to be this own guy. This guy made
No,
it. and
this
New
this
York
isn't
Times,
the
yeah.
Wordle from the New York Times today. This is
This
I
is just
this
it's
is
a
a different one. Yeah.
It's
I won't
random.
say what the
already
word
did
is today from New York Times because just in case those of you are still trying to do it, but it's not. There was no I in the word today. That's for sure.
I didn't do today's. There's a Canadian one too, eh? Called Knuckle.
Yeah,
Okay,
Canuckle's really good. I play that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said irate. Have you tried? Oh
And
no, there's
throttle.
no R.
Someone said bound.
Begin. B-E-G-I. Oh, begin is good. Melanie said begin. B-E-G-I-N.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But
The only
begin
issue is
the
the
I.
I is
The I isn't the second last one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Ugh, you have to think all
Yeah.
this time.
Kathleen had a good idea because that's my strategy is sometimes when I'm stuck is I use words that even though I know that the letters are not necessarily in it and not using the I that's we already know is there, but just to get rid of letters. Sometimes you get so stuck on trying to think of a word with that letter that you can't do it.
I know.
Binge or idiom in the chat are looking like good options.
Binge. We could try binge. Okay, we got the I in the right spot.
And an E.
You know there's an E in it.
What's I before E except after? So maybe it's IE, something IE.
Peace.
Peace.
Someone said peace.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, it could be
Peace,
peace,
like
like
peace.
P-I-E-C-E. No, there's no C.
There's no C.
There's dived in the
Dive,
chat.
yeah.
I think that works.
Which one?
Dived. So like
D-
E would be.
This one? Dived?
Yeah. Yeah.
Double D.
Oh, double D. Yeah.
That's okay. You're allowed to have
It's
double
okay.
Ds.
Yeah, you can have double letters. Double, yeah. All right, so you don't want to try this one?
Is dive the word? Isn't the past
Yeah, it's
participle of
usually not in
dive
the
dove?
past.
I think it's dove.
Well,
Oh.
we try it. I'm not.
It'll just
I mean,
tell
we
you.
can-
It'll like wiggle woggle or whatever it does.
Oh, we're getting there.
Interesting.
Ooh.
There's
Oh,
no
Oh.
there's no L.
I think I know what it is.
Natasha.
Video.
Yeah, okay. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
video.
Yeah, almost certainly. Eh?
Yay, we got it.
Yay.
So,
That was fun.
yeah, I thought more of you guys would know that. Okay. Well, if you don't know it, it's fun and there's a million different versions and the whole world is kind of addicted to it right now.
Yeah, Wordle and Knuckle is what I play, and my husband plays Oodle, which is a math one.
Ooh. And there's Quordle, which you
Yeah,
do
there's-
four at once.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wordle
yeah.
is sorcery. I've tried that a few times. It's sorcery. I've given up.
Okay. Like, who came up with video? I guess it was a group effort.
I thought I heard Chantel, but
I think I
Yeah.
just got to it first, but I do think it was a group effort, to be honest.
a group, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of process of elimination.
Okay, this was fun. I don't know if it's 8:33. I don't know if everyone wants to play another one. We can do that, or we can just call it a night. Anyone wants to play another Wordle?
I have to leave everyone, but it was really nice to see some very familiar faces. I hope you all have a lovely evening and stay safe. And see you around.
You too, Chantal.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Chantal.
Chantal.
Okay, then
I have to go too.
I guess we are finishing our call then. We will send the recording and the slides, and like I mentioned, please stay in touch and let us know if you have any questions, any suggestions. And if you are not receiving the volunteer newsletter, please put your email in the chat so we make sure that you are included to the list. So thank you so much for joining and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Bye, Claire. Bye, Mia.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining.